Hello. Short video. I don't know how short it'll be actually, to be honest, but short as possible. Where we're going to look into qualitative research, and the beginning point here, it's rooted in understanding of subjectivist theoretical perspective. So remember, at the beginning of the course, we talked about research as having either objectivist or a subjectivist perspective. The subjectivist perspective really is starting to look at a little more complex um, idea of relations between individuals and also our perceptions. So the notion that when I perceive something, I am involved in doing the perceiving and I'm putting something into it, not just objectively looking at it. So I'm also in a relationship with the thing that I am studying. And so in a way, trying to be more objective, trying to get to know the full story, is one of the goals of the subjectivist perspective is. And and the criticism of quantitative research is that it's not as good as that. It doesn't do a good job of that. And so qualitative tries to be flexible, holistic, and have the research subject or object in a quantitative sense be in a naturalistic setting. So it doesn't aim to put it in a lab, do experiments, and all that kind of stuff that we've been doing up to now. So it's a really different kind of way of learning about the thing that we're studying. Okay. Um, so that's some of the very short kind of intro to the idea of qualitative research. And so this is a slide that just brings in some of the languages, some of the language of qualitative research. What does it mean to be a chicken? I don't know the essence of hoarseness. I might find my inner portionicity. Um, so those are all, I think, kind of neat. Classifying research. So what we're going to be doing with qualitative research is not much more than just classifying, and we're going to be focusing on case studies. Let me get a different color pen here. What's going to contrast well? Maybe black. We're going to be looking at case studies, ethnography, grounded theory, phenomenology. We're going to look at action research and content analysis. Okay, so these evaluation historical research we're not going to focus on at all. We've dealt with descriptive and analytic research in the quantitative side, so these will be the focus. What we're going to be, and I'm going to be trying to help you learn how to classify by reading abstracts. Okay, back to the red pen. So characteristics, as I mentioned, we have the natural setting, we have holistic, we have flexible, and those meanings. So I'll take a few minutes. I have also have some in the booklets. Um, well, these slides are actually in the booklet as well. Data collection. So what I want to get back to classifying. So these are going to be the key elements that you're going to look at when you're doing the uh, choosing which type of research you're reading, trying to classify the research that you're reading. Data analysis is not going to be a big part of it. We're not going to get into a lot of the data analysis or any of the data analysis because we just don't have the time, although it's really neat how it's done. So identifying research from abstract. So I'm going to go through this. So first of all, what's really important is to focus on goal and data collection method. Use process of elimination. So this is going to be very, very important. Okay, because you have to justify that you've understood the types of research and the classification system that I'm teaching you. And by doing the process of elimination, you're convincing me of that because that's what I'm really trying to get you to master. So that's why I have to stress that that's the most important. So now let's look at the types. And if you've done any kind of research methods courses, you will have seen that there are disagreements and so on about these, but we're going to focus on these as a foundation of qualitative research. Action research. So this is the key word here. Action. So there's got to be some sort of action. And this is going to be the first one I want you, when you're going through the process of elimination, to eliminate. It's the easiest one to eliminate, because if there's no action, so there's question, plan, and here we go, act. Observe, reflect, plan again. So we reflect, we change, and we act two. So this is act two. Okay, and then act three. So you do this cycle of planning, acting, observing, reflecting, planning, acting, observing, reflecting, and so on, and trying to improve, again, a program or service. But that's kind of vague. So uh, really, when you're doing a case study, you're also trying to improve a program or service often, but you're doing it in a very different way. So here you're actually implementing the ideas. Data analysis is, again, through negotiation with all parties involved. Um, so that's another aspect of action research that's important, is that participation of decision makers, workers, and those using programs. So it's a multiple points of view are important here. Again, that's basic tenet of qualitative research. Case study. So this is going to be a little bit different than the case study you see in your courses, other courses where you study a particular case, but it is similar in that a particular individual, program, or event is studied in depth. Now, the key thing is that it's described from various points of view. So we're trying to get an event. So think of an event, right? So let's say right now there's a big, what's in the news, in northern Quebec, in a hospital. First Nations woman was treated very poorly. It's an example of systemic racism. And so that's a particular event that's being studied. And so you can study it, you can imagine it being studied as a case study of what did we do? What did we go wrong? This person died, he shouldn't have died. And so let's get various points of view. Let's not listen to just one point of view. What happened? Why was this person treated so poorly? And allow everybody to tell their story, because we want to get to the truth. Data collection, participant. So that's one of the key ways that it wouldn't be a way of studying this event in particular, it's in the past, but an event that's going on in a current event, for example, or in a future event, you can imagine participant observation. So participant observation means that I, as a researcher, or somebody else acting on my behalf, is there in both a participant. So let's say it's in a hospital setting, they may be a hospital worker of some sort, and they're also observing, interviewing, and part of the research process while being a participant in the thing being studied, which would never happen in a quantitative research study. Data analysis, again, there's going to be, categories, patterns must emerge from data. We don't have pre-existing patterns we're trying to make the data fit into. We don't come up with variables before. There's no X, there's no Y, there's no independent, dependent variable. So again, very, very different from quantitative research. Data, okay, that's fine. Best of two different data collection methods come to the same conclusion. Here's an example. Plagiarism by adult learners online, a case study in detection and remediation. So again, you can imagine various points of view from the student's point of view. So you would want to involve adult learners in some ways. You want to involve the teachers, and you would want to involve the online platforms or some other kinds of people who are involved in this designing or marking or teaching, or students. Content analysis. This is another one that's really easy to reject. So when we're going through the process of eliminate, action research would be first, document or content analysis second, because what we're doing is we're studying not characteristics of people, but a collection of materials. I shouldn't wipe that out. So collection of stuff, sample or census of archive. You go in, you grab stuff, and so it could be letters, could be minutes of meetings. So you can imagine that now that Trump's leaving office, there probably getting rid of a lot of documents. And for years, people will be studying and trying to figure out what was going on in the White House because it wasn't transparent, um, and getting access to those records. Um, so we're not going to get the full census. We're not going to get all the documents, but we're going to get bits and pieces to figure out what's going on. So we have here, look at this, descriptive and inferential. So here, again, you could imagine there could be some quantitative analysis as well, but we're studying people's stuff, not what they want us to hear, but what's in their stuff. And so this is a good quote. I'll just pause and allow you to read it. So the study of things, of people's things, is the important thing in research. So newspaper coverage of asylum seekers. Okay, so we also have very interesting. There was a report done of maybe 10, 15 years ago of newspaper coverage of the racism that existed in the 1930s around Japanese that predated the internment of Japanese people that in Canada. Well, and the United States, but Canada in particular. So the newspaper reports what they did is they found so many articles that hair-raising what was being written from our point of view. So it also gives us a sense of how far along we've come, how much better we are as a society, and how much more open we are in accepting the fact that there may be racism. Um, Content analysis of letters of Pierre Trudeau or anybody else. Email analysis now was in the emails, looking through servers, looking through conversations that people had on phones, uh, WhatsApp, whatever they're using, right? So and we could also study literature. Ethnography. So this is one that's going to give you a lot of trouble because ethno kind of means culture. So a particular group with a common culture. So anytime you see something like the study of Japanese women or Chinese women or a Ukrainian woman or, well, not a Ukrainian woman, but Ukrainians or whoever, what an ethnic group, you'll think of this as of the study as ethnography. Well, that's not the case. So be careful of this. We're looking for, the key word here is search for values, attitudes, and beliefs. So if you see a search for values, attitudes, beliefs in a particular group, which could be something like HIM students. That contrast isn't very good, is it? I'm going to change color of the pen right now on the fly. I think I'll do orange is probably better contrast. So there we go. Or nurses, right? You could do ethnography of nurses or doctors, or I'm just using healthcare workers. Data collection from inside the group, so participant observer. So again, you want to go, quote unquote, go native, be like the people you're studying. Okay. Uh, get stories from the members of the group and learn how they behave from the inside. So their values, attitudes, and beliefs from inside the group. So you could imagine an objective, quantitative study, let's say, of a group that we don't know much about, which is judgmental because the variables that we bring to the study are in our heads already, so it's our bias. But a qualitative tries to, by participant observation, tries to go in the group and not bring as few biases as possible, or at least declare them up front. Yeah, so looking for themes is part of the data analysis. I'm not going to go into that too much. What are doctors like when not working? Mortuary beliefs and practices, and this would be a typical what you would expect to see as ethnography. The second one, right? You're thinking of some cultural group that you don't know much about. Grounded theory is going to be the last one you're going to eliminate. Well, the second last one, but so it's going to be some of them you're going to be stuck between this one and phenomenology, which comes next. And here we're searching for a theory, so that's the key, or one of the keys, searching for theory, and it's about a social process, okay, or a structure. So we're trying to build some sort of a theoretical structure, not just describing not just so beyond description. So beyond description, and that's what's going to distinguish it from. Oh, the other part is the back checking, and then this is one that the only thing that you have to look at the data analysis, because what we're coming up with is what's sort of some sort of a theory. So there'll be some sort of discussion of checking until you settle on a theory. Feels like I'm losing my voice. Okay, so grounded theory examples. Emergence of autonomous selfhood in women through psychotherapy and the women's movement. Stages of friendship formation. So in each one of these, you can see there's some theory, some sort of a structure. Deciphering chronic pain. So that means we're building a structure for chronic pain. Stages of friendship. Emerges autonomous selfhood. That's a structure as well. And the last one, and my favorite, is phenomenological research. If you can say it, you can get mastery in this topic. So search for meaning, but the key is description. So where grounded theory goes beyond description, we're looking for meaning, but a meaningful description from that person's or that group's point of view. So what is it like to experience, and right, those are the key words you're going to see. All right, so what is it like? Through participant observation, lengthy interview process, or previous research. Finding meaning units, and here's a few examples. Survival in a totalitarian state is my favorite of these. My mom actually lived through an aerial bombing in World War II in Berlin, and unfortunately some of you or your families have too. Hopefully we don't see too much of that in the years to come. And then on the team, right? So, but all these are description. We're not looking to come up with some sort of theories. And well, 17 minutes, not bad. Looking forward to playing and practicing with doing this work. Take care.